Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving deep into a really fascinating and, well, a pretty specific cultural story today.
Definitely feels like one worth digging into.
It's the completely unexpected sort of runaway success of this animated film, K-pop Demon Hunters, KDH.
TDH, yeah. It's
That-
been hard to miss, really.
Totally. So, look, we've got a whole stack of sources tracking it basically from its Netflix debut, like day one,
Mm.
right through to landing on some of the biggest stages in American TV.
From streaming screens to,
Uh,
well, everywhere.
Exactly. And our mission today, it's pretty straightforward. We just need to figure out how this fictional group, three demon-slaying K-pop stars, became like one of the most significant pop culture things of the entire year.
Yeah.
Record-breaking even.
It's quite the journey. How did a streaming cartoon manage that?
Right? How did it conquer the music charts and get nods from these major cultural institutions it seemed, created outside of?
Well, I think this deep dive gives us a perfect case study. It's right at the intersection of, like, global music trends, streaming culture, and that old school mainstream media validation.
Okay.
KDH isn't just a Netflix hit, it's a Netflix success that really quickly turned into this huge, like, physical chart-topping platinum event.
Wow. Platinum. We'll get to that.
Yeah, it crossed that line from digital, maybe niche, to the physical mainstream faster than almost anything we've seen.
So let's start with the film itself. The premise, that's what hooked millions initially, right?
Absolutely.
Directed by Chris Applehans and Maggie Kang, came out June 20th. And it follows these three animated K-pop stars, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe. And they're performing these synthy earworms, as one source called them, with their secret gig as demon slayers.
It's a fun concept, but the scale of the success, that's what's really fascinating here. The viewership numbers just became historic, like incredibly quickly.
How quick are we talking?
By late August, so 2 months after it dropped, KDH officially became Netflix's most watched movie of all time.
Wait, the most watched, not just like for the summer or the year, all time.
All time. It actually surpassed the previous record holder, Red Notice. Our sources say it logged, get this, 236 million views.
Whoa.
And it's also cited as the most popular English language original in Netflix history.
Okay, so that's massive dominance. But what does that tell us beyond just being popular?
Well, it speaks to a clear shift in global tastes, I think. The success is really grounded in this existing already massive and still growing international fascination with K-pop as a genre.
Right, K-pop's been huge for a while.
Exactly. And streaming platforms like Spotify, like Netflix, they're kind of hacking the old cultural barriers, They've made American audiences way more open to international hits.
Hey, you see that?
You slot genres like K-pop or reggaeton or Afrobeats right next to the usual American stuff, and KDH just tapped into that perfectly. It found an audience ready and waiting.
And the fans responded immediately, like really vocally.
Oh, yeah. The demand was palpable. After driving it to that crazy view count, the fans were so loud, clamoring for more is the phrase used, that Netflix actually gave the film a brief run in theaters.
Seriously, an animated streaming movie.
Seriously, something usually saved for, like, the big studio blockbusters. Not the norm for Netflix originals, especially animated ones.
That really shows the fan power. Okay, so it conquered streaming, even got theatrical nod. Now let's talk about the music. How it went from the screen to, well, the top of the charts.
Right, the music angle is huge here. The fictional group is called Hunter X.
Hunter X, got it. But we should probably clarify something quickly for you, the listener, because the talent involved is sort of layered, right? It's important to keep track of who did what.
Absolutely essential. So the animated characters we see, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, they were voiced by Arden Cho, Mei Hong, and Ji Young-yu. Great voice acting. But the singing voices, the ones you hear on the tracks, the ones who really drove that chart dominance, that's the real-life trio of EJ, Audrey Nuna, and Rayami.
Right, so they are Hunter X when it comes to the music.
Exactly. They are the voices of Hunter X that conquered the music world.
And boy, did they conquer it. Once that music was out, it was just an immediate game changer on the charts. The main song, Golden.
Yeah, Golden. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. That was back in August.
Which is already impressive for a soundtrack song from an animated movie.
Very impressive. But here's where it gets really interesting. Golden didn't just pop up to #1 and disappear.
No.
It actually made history. It led the Hot 100 for a 5th consecutive week, well into September.
5 weeks.
5 straight weeks at #1. That run officially made it the longest-running #1 song by an animated act in the entire history of the Billboard chart.
Wait, longer than, like, Disney songs
Mm.
or other classic animated movie hits?
Longer than any of them. That's a major record to break. For a Netflix film soundtrack, that is. Well, astonishing.
Absolutely astonishing. And was it just Golden, or did the whole soundtrack do well?
Oh, the whole album was a beast. The soundtrack album logged a second non-consecutive week at #1 on the Billboard 200 albums chart.
Okay, #1 album, too.
Yeah. And get this metric. In its latest tracking week at that point, it earned 102,000 equivalent album units.
All right, let's just pause on that for a sec. Equivalent album units, that's the modern way of measuring, right?
Yeah.
Combine streaming, downloads,
Yeah,
actual album sales.
exactly. It's the whole picture of consumption.
Mm.
And 102,000 units in a week is huge. It shows that massive streaming, the record pulled in 117 million on-demand streams that week, translates directly to recognized commercial success.
117 million streams in a week.
Wow. And it wasn't just Golden carrying it. The depth of the soundtrack's appeal is clear. 4 different tracks landed in the Hot 100's top 10.
4. Okay, list them.
You had Golden at #1, obviously. But then Your Idol hit #4. Soda Pop got to #5. And How It's Done peaked at #8.
That's incredible depth. Not just a one-hit wonder soundtrack.
Not at all. Sustained musical success across multiple tracks.
And okay, that kind of sustained, massive success, that's what pushes something out of just the streaming bubble and onto, like, mainstream network television, right?
Precisely. That takes us right into the moment KDH, or rather Hunter X, got its ultimate mainstream seal of approval.
You're talking Fallon.
The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, the real-life singers EJ, Nuna, and Ami made their first ever joint televised appearance there. That was Tuesday, October 7th, 2025.
That Fallon appearance felt like a real turning point, didn't it? The big crossover moment. They performed Golden, the full song.
Yeah, and the energy was palpable. If you watched it, you could feel it.
And then during the interview, the sit-down part, Fallon himself actually broke the news to them, live on air.
Yep. He told them the soundtrack had officially gone platinum.
Getting that platinum news live on Fallon, I mean, that's the definition of traditional media giving the ultimate nod, isn't it? Like, okay, you've officially arrived.
It absolutely is. But interestingly, they'd already hit another huge cultural gatekeeper just a few days earlier.
Oh, right. Saturday Night Live.
Exactly, SNL. The singers were on the season 51 premiere October 4th. They appeared alongside Bad Bunny, who is hosting, and the musical guest.
That SNL sketch was something else. Bad Bunny, arguably the biggest star on the planet.
Right.
Playing this, like, super nerdy, obsessive fan of the KDH movie, going deep into the lore, the taxonomy of magical entities, all that stuff.
Yeah, the deep cuts. And then Hunter X themselves made a cameo, performing a shorter version of Golden.
It was a great sketch. But what's really telling, maybe, is SNL's choice to even do that sketch.
I agree. Think about it. The episode opened, as they often do, with a big political sketch, aiming for those headlines.
Standard SNL playbook.
Right. But our sources confirm that the KDH sketch, that was the one that got the biggest, most genuine, positive reaction from the live audience in the studio.
Interesting. So was SNL just chasing the hype, trying to capture that huge Netflix audience? Or were they genuinely recognizing something new bubbling up?
Probably a bit of both, wouldn't you say? But the outcome is what matters. It's a clear signal. They dedicated a prime sketch slot with a massive guest star to this anime-inspired streaming cartoon.
Yeah.
They could have done sketches about, I don't know, the new Superman movie or Fantastic Four, the traditional blockbuster IP, but they didn't. They saw where the actual cultural heat, the real buzz, was coming from.
And it was coming from KDH.
It was coming from KDH.
Okay, so wrapping this all together,
Right.
what does this mean? If we summarize it, KDH managed something pretty rare. Especially for a film born on streaming. It started acting like a full-on summer blockbuster.
Exactly. A merchandise-generating, box-office-topping sensation, as one source put it, even with that limited theater run. But its origins were entirely digital and, crucially, global.
Which raises that big question, right? About where cultural relevance even comes from now.
It does. The center of gravity feels like it's shifted, fundamentally. We're seeing virtual spaces, niche internet culture, fandoms. They're increasingly setting the agenda for the mainstream.
So SNL wasn't just reflecting pop culture, it was reacting to internet culture becoming pop culture.
I think so. Look at that SNL choice again. They didn't just reference KDH, they referenced the lore, the specific stuff only dedicated online fans would deeply get.
Right, the Guima minions and all that.
Yeah, And think about who else SNL has been bringing in lately. Comics like Cam Patterson from the Kill Tony podcast, Jeremy Colthane from Dropout, the comedy streamer. These are talents from non-traditional, often internet-native stages.
Okay, I see the pattern.
SNL's frame of reference is widening to include these virtual fandom-driven spaces, and KDH is just the perfect, massive example of content born in that space, breaking absolutely huge.
So it proves you don't need the old pipeline anymore. Start on Netflix, blow up the charts, then get validated by Fallon and SNL. It's like the whole Hollywood approval process got flipped backwards.
Pretty much, yeah. And let's be clear, the film worked because the actual content was strong, right? It connected.
It's true. It wasn't just hype.
The songs are frankly bangers. The animation style is bright, super engaging, and the characters, the women of Hunter X, the audience sees them as legitimate global superheroes. On par with any Marvel or DC hero.
Good point.
It just proves that really great, globally aware, synthesized content, it'll find its way to the top. Doesn't matter as much anymore how it gets distributed initially.
It really is this incredible synthesis. An animated film based on K-pop aesthetics becomes a record setter on the U.S. music charts, goes platinum, gets the stamp of approval from the very network TV institutions it kind of bypassed on the way up.
Yeah, the success wasn't a fluke. It wasn't luck. It was like this perfect storm of global access finally meeting really high-quality, genre-blending entertainment that audiences were clearly ready for.
Demonstrated that the audience is absolutely ready for entertainment that ignores old borders.
Completely.
Okay, so let's leave our listeners with this. A final, maybe a provocative thought for you to mull over. Considering how fast and how completely K-pop demon hunters took over the mainstream, the charts, late-night TV, the cultural conversation, does this whole phenomenon mark the actual moment? The moment where global streaming soundtracks officially took over from traditional Hollywood studio tentpoles as the main driver, the primary source of American youth culture. Something to think about.